Alright, Spooney and Ben here back with another video. You gotta check out Ben's most recent video about how Brown and Tatum played off each other to beat the Bucks up. Not on Christmas. We're not talking about that game for any reason ever again, but they did beat up the Bucks a week before Christmas, so check his video out and make sure you subscribe to the Celtics Reddit podcast YouTube as soon as you possibly can. So today, we have a very important message for you. The Celtics at times are mired in isolations and a lack of creativity on offense. The panacea, free G Willy! What the Celtics have been doing on the offensive end just isn't working. Bottom 10 in just about a ton of offensive metrics and middling in the others. Predictability's been the death knell of this team for a year and a half now. You need to get your tertiary players involved to mix things up for defenses, keep them on their toes, and make them make tough decisions. Grant Williams has the ability to be a big part of that. First, let's talk about why Grant Williams has put himself in a position where he can be one of those tertiary players that can punish defenses when they focus in on the Jays. So Grant Heft Curry Williams has turned himself into one of the best catch and shoot players in the NBA. He's over 50% from both corners. He's in the 97th percentile for spot-up efficiency, and he's a solid 52nd percentile on cuts. He's turned himself into a player that defenses need to respect, and he's got the potential to be so much more for this team. There's three areas Grant's showed potential that can completely open up the Celtics offense, and let's take up the first one. Punishing bad defenders that are hiding on him. So when the Celtics aren't completely destroyed by injuries and Omicron, Grant isn't exactly going to pull the best defender on the other team. And you know what? That's good. Might seem crazy, but the Celtics should try giving him the ball some and letting him see what he can do, right? When you've got the worst defender on you, you have to be able to punish that. And Grant has actually shown some flashes and the ability to do just that. There's a lot of different ways you can punish a bad defender, and really most bad defenders come in two categories. First, they're littles. Think Kemba, Isaiah Thomas. They're just guys who can't match up with the size of who they're guarding, but you try to hide them on someone who can't do much with the ball, right? We used to hide Isaiah Thomas on the Robert Covington types who all they did was shoot open threes. The second, guys who lack lateral quickness, dudes who just cannot stay in front of anybody. Usually these are plotting big men, but lots of times they can be like a shooter like Davis Bertans or renowned defender James Harden. So an easy way for Grant to punish littles or even guys that lack a lot of strength is on post-ups. So here we're going to take a look at a clip of him posting up Rodney Hood. He's posted up 12 times this year, which is not a lot, but the results of him doing so have been great. He's 2 for 3 on shots out of the post, has 4 assists, no turnovers, and he shot 4 free throws. All told, we've came away with points 8 times on his 12 post-ups. That's pretty damn good. In this clip where he's posting up Rodney Hood, right? Hood's just not strong enough to guard him. Grant gets the ball in the post, and he gets hacked. I mean, that's just easy, efficient offense. The other team's going to hide a little or a weak defender on him. Grant can go in the post and generate good looks for the Celtics. That's super important. Next, we're going to take a look at a clip of James Harden trying to hide himself on Grant Williams. And this is really where Grant is weaponizing his shooting. He's going to catch the ball on the wing here, and Harden, again, he's trying to guard him. Grant just tosses a simple pump fake, and he gets into the lane. Brooklyn actually does a really good job of covering this up as Aldridge steps up, and Durant leaves to check Tatum in the corner. It's the rotation they have to make, and this is a really difficult finish for Grant Williams, right? He's got to float it up and over Aldridge. But Grant doesn't do that. That's the simple read, the simple play, but he sees Durant leave Al, and he drops a sweet little dime to Horford for the easy 2. Any good shooter can pump and go. But flashing playmaking when you're driving into the lane against a set defense, shows me that there's more to Grant Williams' offense than just a guy like a Robert Covington, who's a pure catch-and-shoot guy who can't do much off the bounce. Grant's got some stuff, and I'd like to see him flash it a little bit more. So the second way that we can get Grant a little bit more involved and diversify the offense is in the pick and pop game. Why don't we figure out how we can free Grant Willy in the pick and pop game? Pick and pops are one of the most unguardable plays in the NBA if you have a true big that can shoot. It's hard enough to cover in pick and roll, but at least in that sense, your big can drop and cover the drive and the rolling big man sometimes at the same time. But the pick and pop puts that big in an uncomfortable position because he's either got to stick to his man and get out on the perimeter, where most bigs are uncomfortable, or he's got to switch onto the ball handler and probably get punished. So Grant turning into a plus shooter creates these types of issues for the opposing team. It's a dangerous development, and one the Celtics frankly do not use enough. So let's take a look at this first play. This is just simple, effective offense, right? The setup to this play is Grant set a screen for Al to get Taco on him, and then Al gets Dean Wade on him. So Grant gets up top with Taco guarding him, and he sets a screen for Schroeder to run what looks like a pick and roll, but instead of rolling, he pops. Schroeder's guarded by Okoro. Taco's got to play drop coverage because it's Taco, right? He's not going to get up on Dennis Schroeder. He's going to get blown by. So Okoro kind of makes a bad decision and tries to get over the screen. He does try to get back to Schroeder, doesn't do a very good job of it. Grant set a very nice screen, and Okoro's way behind the play. Even worse, Taco's in no man's land to guard Grant Williams. Nobody's with Grant Williams. Schroeder, easy little pass over to Grant, wide open three, whap. Simple, effective offense. Pick and pops are tough to guard. They create this type of offense often. This next play, absolutely beautiful. It's a double screen action with Rob and Grant Williams. Rob's going to dive to the rim, Grant's going to pop, and Schroeder does a nice job of putting pressure on the defense by looking like he's going to drive. I feel like we could run this play like every time and get a bucket. Schroeder takes Jalen Green into both picks, Sengun sticks with Schroeder, Wood covers Rob, and Green is in just absolute no man's land. Guess what? Heft Curry, wide the hell open, easy three, whap. Efficient offense. Like I said, the pick and pop is tough to defend. Never mind when the Williams boys are double screening ya. That's the beauty of the pick and pop. You gotta prioritize stopping the ball, but lots of times that leaves the pop man wide open. When that's Rob Williams, nobody cares. When that's Al Horford this season, nobody cares. But when it's Grant, that's a really good look. So we've talked about Grant punishing bad defenders. We've talked about it hitting threes on pick and pop, but he's shown a little bit more on the pick and roll as well, and not just popping. And now we're going to discuss short roll playmaking. So a short roll is when you don't roll all the way to the rim like Rob Will always does to try and catch a lob. It's when you sit in that free throw line area and generally try to make a play, either a short mid-range jumper or find an open shooter. So, look, we know Grant Williams isn't going to fly in the air, break the atmosphere, and dunk on everyone's head like Rob will, although his mom does work for NASA, so maybe there's some science out there that could help him. But frankly, it's just not going to happen. But he can be dangerous in the pick and roll in his own way, and that way is making plays for others. Again, this first clip, just beautiful basketball, something us Celtics fans not really used to seeing lately. Smart's going to come off Grant's screen with pace and attack the defense. You'll hear Scal talk about that a lot, that you have to attack with speed and pace. Smart does a great job of doing that on this play. So he's going to suck in both Houston defenders, and Grant's got all this time and space when he catches the ball to do something. That's good stuff. This is already a good possession, right? And even better, on the backside, Horford's going to set a hammer screen for Tatum to completely open him up. Grant finds him with a beautiful on-time, on-target pass for a wide-open three. Money, something we'd like to see more of. Good offense. Next clip's a little different. This is going to show Grant's understanding of his strength as a player and just, frankly, basketball in general. OKC switches this pick and roll with basically minimal effort. Looks like a Celtics switch, frankly. That's going to leave Poku on Schroeder, and Grant backs that thing up right into SGA and clears a ton of space. Dennis finds it, easy pitch back, and it's a bucket. These are the types of buckets the Celtics need to generate without the involvement of Jays to take some pressure off those guys. Be creative, find each other, keep the ball moving, and just play better offense. It's happened at times, but at other times, they've been maddening. That's been the frustrating part with the Celtics this season, is they have shown potential on that end and potential to be a diverse, interesting offense, and no guy has shown more potential for diversity than Grant Williams. And maybe if his role was enlarged, he won't be able to do this stuff consistently and make it worthwhile, but we're at the point in the season where it's time to see. The role players need to be empowered to try some stuff. Or maybe Grant could even be our primary ball handler. Nah, I'm just kidding on that, but nonetheless, it's time to see what some of these young guys can do. That's all for this one. Please subscribe to our channel. We would absolutely really appreciate it. And Ben and Spooney out.